So after we look at how can we using different model to capture the trend and the seasonality, the next I want to introducing is the regression analysis we already learned, and actually we can re-leveraging what we already learned to do the forecasting for the time series model. Because any time series model may have some relationship with other variables besides the time itself, right? So for instance, when we forecasting sales, so maybe during the whole time there was advertisement going on, people spend the money on the commercials, so that might kind of causing the sale go up and go down. So therefore, to forecasting the sales, we might be able to use advertisement expenditure. Similarly, for the housing, new house constructed, right? When the mortgage rate is low, consumer more likely to purchase the house. And then more likely we rent out the house, more likely to incentivize the builder to build more houses. So therefore, the mortgage rate might become an indirect cost for more new houses built, right? Similarly, for the GPA and then the starting salary, right? Some student, as you can see that the student who might earn higher GPA might be, they might end landing in a better job because many employer does look at the GPA to determine if they want to hire the student. So as you think about that relationship, maybe the high GPA will result in a higher salary because they are able to landing on a better, more competitive job where the employer pay better, have more candidate, but they more likely to stand out. Also, similarly for the price and the demand, so when the price is lower, demand is high. When the price is higher, the demand is low. As we know this relationship, so the price might causing the demand to go up and down, right? And also more example, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which we hear about report all the time, is reflecting the whole market, and they are blue chips, and they're more like indicator for the economy. So they're more likely to driving this other individual businesses to making decision, driving the investor make a decision. Therefore, the Dow Jones Industrial Average maybe become a cause to causing the individual stock price go up and down. Similarly, for the temperature, when the temperature is very high, people more likely to turn on the AC, consume more electricity. When temperature is mild, people turn left out. When the temperature goes very low, maybe and then people might start the heater. Maybe the heater is heated by the electricity, so your electricity will go up. So you can see the temperature might affecting the electricity usage as well. So all those examples I'm calling now is that when we are thinking about forecasting the time series data, we should also not forget, we can't just use the regression analysis we learned before to do the forecasting. However, the key here is that the X variable we pick here has to use some judgment to pick. We believe those are the cause of the time series data. So the causal model are forecasting model that include only variables that are believed to cause changes in a variable to be forecast. So we're just using our judgment to pick the variable that can help us to determine why my time series data are changing. Okay. So I want to show you the example here. It's about Amanda's pizza Perot's regression equation. And I will show you this example in the computer skills. So management at Pizza Perot want to forecast sale for a new restaurant to be open near a college campus, using the student population at the 10 colleges located near a similar restaurant. And because the restaurant between the student population and the quality sale can be approximated by a straight line, as you can see on the right hand side of this diagram. So basically, it makes sense, right? The more student we have, the more student most likely become the customer to buy pizzas. So therefore, the student population become like have a cause the sale go up and down. So instead of building a time trend model, and since the data of the student population also available, we can build a very simple linear regression model using the student population as my X variable and using the sale as my Y variable. So now I'm able to see, okay, the student body and the quality sale have this relationship. So Y is the sale equal to 6 plus 5 times the student population. So to interpreting the slope 5, that means if 1,000 students join the campuses, so for this restaurant, they're expecting $5,000 more sale quarterly. Yes, so that makes sense. Okay, so now after we receive this regression output analysis, and we actually can use it to do the forecast. So let's see, we are predicting they are planning to open a new restaurant where there is a student body equal to about 16,000. What we're gonna do is plug in 6 into this equation, right? And we are getting 140, so that means the quarterly sales are expected to be $140,000. Okay, I think this method is very straightforward to you guys because we already learned regression. So the key here is we just need to make sure we are able to identify the good causal variables, right? If your X variable is not selected correctly, you will notice that your model is not able to predict the Y variable well. Okay, so after we look at causal variable, and as you learn at this point, you know that we just keep adding things to our models because the model is able to capture more. So how about we have a available variable for the causal relationship. We also can create in the trend, seasonality. So feel free to put everything in it. As you can see, to forecasting the pizza restaurant, I can not only including my student population, which is my XT here. I also can including my period. I can including my including the seasonality. The key here is when I'm plotting my sales data, if I see the seasonality, if I see the trend, and also I'm having this student population data available, I'm just plugging to my regression model and see if my forecasting results, the MAPE, or the mean absolute percentage error is getting better, which means this value is smaller, or actually getting worse. From there, you can pick which model you want to select the best. Okay. Although linear regression, so I want to call out a few things you need to pay attention. Although linear regression analysis allow for the estimation of the complex forecasting model, so we must be cautious about using such model and guard against the potential for overfitting our model to the sample data. So many research studies have also shown that quantitative forecasting model, such as those presented in this chapter, commonly outperform quality forecasts made by experts. Whether a regression approach provides a good forecast depends largely on how well we are able to identify and obtain data for independent variables that are closely related to the time series. Part of the regression analysis produced should focus on the selection of the set of the independent variables that provide the best forecasting model. So that's one thing I want to share as I'm working on the consulting project with a different client at the e-commerce. And so before I jump into their project, so the business owner already have their own model to do the forecasting on their inventory planning in terms of how many stock they want to stock. And however, the people on this team lack of the quantitative skills. So although the business owner is very smart, he made a really good decision. So I was able to leverage the data they have to building a more sophisticated forecasting model to help them to better forecast how many inventory they need to put in their warehouse. So that's it. What the bottom line of this slide is that having this quantitative forecasting model usually can help decision maker making a bad decision. So for you, it's very important that you are able to communicate your model well with people who have no idea about statistics, right? So that visualization we learned at the beginning of the class is so important because people are less likely can understand the model you're learning here. However, you can visually represent your result well. People will believe what you did. And again, you are the expert in terms of quantitative forecasting model, and you should be able to, first of all, know this knowledge well. Second, be good at communicating your result with your stakeholders.